Hi, I'm Sean,
And I'm Andrew.
and we're both from Ridgeway High School, and we got to go together to do an internship in environmental engineering at the University of Utah.
All right, so yeah, we drove down to Salt Lake City and we worked at the University of Utah with a group called the Carbon Science and Engineering Research Group, which was led by Dr. Brian McPherson. And what these guys were dealing with is carbon sequestration, which is basically the hiding of carbon instead of putting it into the atmosphere. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, CO2. So we had two main tasks. One of which is the CO2 sensor network, and basically what this is in the field, underneath the Earth would be the stored carbon, or the supercritical carbon. And what the CO2 sensor network would do is test around the field to see if there's any leaks of that carbon. So what we were working with was Arduino, and we learned the Arduino programming language and Python. And basically we had to set up a sensor network with multiple nodes with different sensors, all tracking the amount of CO2 in the air at that location at the same time. So kind of the first thing we did was test these sensors. And basically what that was like is we went up to the top of the Union roof where the Panda Express vent was located. And coming out of that Panda Express vent was CO2. So we kind of messed around up there and tested to see if our sensors were actually working. Okay, this continued. So what we also had to do with these CO2 sensors was get them to communicate so we could actually monitor them all at once. So we worked with the Radiohead library and Python to get the sensors to communicate through RF modules, or basically just little antennas. So wireless communication between all the sensors so we could all kind of map what the field was looking like.
Our second task was helping with experiments on Healy-Shaw flow, which is basically how fluids like gases and liquids flow when they're in small, almost two-dimensional pore networks, which are common in the rocks that we're trying to store CO2 in. So to help with the experiments for that, we created an apparatus to record them, and we did that first by modeling it in Autodesk Fusion 360, and then we used the 3D printers in the university's library to print them, and then to print the various components, and then we attached them. And this is the apparatus. And so the apparatus would hold a phone up here, and that phone would be recording a video as we pumped like colored water through a piece of plastic that had a pore network in it, and we would observe how it would flow and needed this to hold it all together. And we also made a program that would create a pore network that we could then put onto the piece of plastic with 3D printing. So basically it took from samples of rocks and just grabbed a layer at random and put it into a model.
All right, so we stayed in Salt Lake City at an Airbnb, so we didn't have a host family, but there were other people coming in and out of the house. And as you can see, it's a pretty cozy house. And there's some college kids in there, and basically our downtime was playing video games with those guys. It was really fun.
Outside of work, one of the early things we did was we went to a baseball game with the Salt Lake Bees for 4th of July, and we saw the fireworks show there. It was really great because the fireworks were launched from right next to the stadium. So like they had to clear out that part of the seating because of the smoke hazard. And we also went to Liberty Park, it was like a few blocks away from our house. So we could just walk there and look at all the trees and the water, and it was really great. Also, there was another intern from Salt Lake City who was with the CSER, and he was a pretty cool dude. He showed us around town, introduced us to a pretty cool frozen yogurt place. And we also got a visit from Andrew's family. They went around, visited the Capitol, went to a roller coaster ride. It was pretty fun. Yeah. And for advice to future interns, just go for it. Even if you're not entirely confident in your chances of getting in, just do it. Like, I was waitlisted, and then I got to do this with one of my best friends. So just do it.